Lucy meets Scott at the Metro Court Bar and asks if he started sweeping Tracy off her feet. Scott says he's got her where he wants her. He reveals he's been texting with her and even flirting. Lucy thinks he needs to take it slower so she doesn't get suspicious. She says the goal is to get her to Vegas, get her hammered, and then marry her. Scott says Luke already did that, so he doubts she'll fall for it again. Lucy disagrees and says Tracy makes the same mistakes over and over. She looks through his texts and tells him he's overusing the exclamation points, and that emoji doesn't mean what he thinks it does. Kevin, Laura, and Martin are at a table, and they all take note of Lucy with Kevin at the bar. Martin says Lucy forgave him for his ex from hell, so he can trust her with hers. Laura suggests a selfie for her social media, which Jordan is pushing her to be more active on. After they take it, Martin has to depart to make a business call to a client in Singapore and departs. Kevin tells Laura it's never a good sign when Lucy and Scott have their heads together. Suddenly, Laura gets a call from Lucas. Across the way, Scott and Lucy see the look on Laura's face and go to ask what is wrong. Laura tells Scott she's so sorry, but Bobby's died. Lucas was calling for Lucky's number, and she promised not to tell anyone before Carly told her kids. Scott and Lucy promise not to say anything. They all reminisce about Bobby and how much they loved her as flashbacks are shown. At the Quartermain mansion, Brooke Lynn notices Tracy's phone is blowing up with texts from Scott and asks what business she has with him. Tracy says he texted her the other day out of the blue about her New Year's plans, and she foolishly responded, and it opened the floodgates. She reads through Scott's texts and tells her granny that Scott is flirting with her. Chase returns, and Brooke Lynn fills him in on the drama with her mom. Changing the subject, she tells him about Scott flirting with Tracy via text. Tracy insists he's not flirting with her, so Brooke Lynn grabs her phone to show Chase. Tracy yells, "Is there no privacy here?" Brooke Lynn recalls she had something with Scott back in the day, and Chase wonders if Tracy is interested. She says her standards are not that low, but Brooke Lynn thinks it's okay if she wants to get out there and have fun. Brooke Lynn downloads Instagram onto her granny's phone and follows some people she knows. She shows her they are all having fun while she is home watching the ball drop. Tracy says they don't besmirch Dick Clark in this house. Brooke Lynn and Chase decide to go, but she tells Tracy they never know how much time they have left, so to use what time they have to live a little. Alone, Tracy looks through her feed and sees Laura's selfie and Lucy and Scott in the background together. She exclaims, "Gotcha." Ava returns to the gallery after a show and puts some paintings away. Meanwhile, a figure makes their way in through the back door, and when Ava sees them, they put their hand over her mouth to keep her from screaming. Ava is surprised to see Nicholas, and he assumes so given she left him for dead. She reveals she knew he was alive and gallivanting around Europe, and warns him that Sonny's guard is right outside the door if he's here for revenge. He reminds her this room is soundproof, but he's not here to hurt her. She snaps, "Taking my daughter wouldn't have hurt me?" He wanted her to feel pain as she helped Spencer turn against him, but wouldn't have gone through with it. He notes they've both been through the ringer, and he's sorry for what Austin did to her. She asks if he killed him and has been sending the notes to her. He swears he did and hasn't, and she shockingly believes him. She asks why he came back. He says with Austin and Mason gone, he knew he could finally talk to her. He apologizes for all the hurt and pain he caused her, and they were both played by Austin and his boss that night. She says sadly it wasn't the first time they were played.